Good morning. My name's Jim, and got some stories for you today. Uh, that mountain behind me there, that's the highest peak in Panama, Volcan Barru. It's an old volcano. I hiked it the first time I was here 17 or 18 years ago, and whew, it was the roughest hike I've ever taken. So these days, I'm happy to look at it from down here. Today, I'm going to talk about travel in the afterlife. Our family members travel with us wherever we go. Uh, it's a point I've been trying to express in some of these videos that everywhere you are, everywhere you go, family goes with you. We started to explore this, Colleen and I started to explore this almost from the very beginning, back in the early 2000s. At one point early on, Colleen and Nancy were together in Nancy's apartment, adjacent to where Colleen has a house now, in that barn, as a matter of fact. Colleen asks, she's getting ready to go to Europe, and she asks who's going to be traveling with her. And very poignantly, a man replies, "We go wherever you want to go." That was a great comment in a couple of different ways. Number one, he's admitting that, yes, they are traveling with Colleen, her group members. But he also expresses the free will of us humans. We go wherever you want to go. Colleen has free will to travel wherever she wants, and they simply follow along. After she got back from that trip later on, she asks, this is in 2013, "How's Dad's transition going?" Our father had recently passed away, and we knew he was transitioning in the afterlife. "How's Dad's transition going? He's usually here with us," a man tells her. Obviously, he's traveling. He's not in the house when Colleen asks about him, but he usually is. That was, 8 years ago? At that point, I asked as well, just before I was coming here to Panama, I asked my house, "Who's coming to Panama with me?" A man replies, "Very soon now." And another fella says, "Yes, we are." Very soon now reflects that they even know the future in the afterlife. They know what's going to happen. That spring, Colleen asks, "How's Dad doing?" Very simple. A man replies to her, "He must have been traveling." This most likely reflects the time that he was doing his redos in the afterlife. That involves all the travel that you do as a human. You're going to screw something up. You're going to go back and re-travel all that to correct whatever you did wrong, your redos. Some time later, a few years later, Colleen told her house during a study. And these studies are where, when either Colleen or I, we put out a whole bunch of recorders, sit very quietly, ask questions, and let absolute silence so we can capture the answers on the recorders. Colleen did a study announcing that she had lunch that particular St. Patty's Day at the Bally Hotel, the old family business from back in the day. A man tells her, I was there with you. Tommy Finnegan. He was a cousin of our father's, so was that second cousin? I don't know how that works. We used to call him Uncle Tom. Great gentleman. I actually went to Alaska to visit him one time. We went moose hunting. I shot a moose. Last time I've killed anything. It was a wonderful trip, but it was just agonizing to see an animal that big die. I would never do it again. He died in January of 2018. That winter, I was here in Panama, and we asked about Tommy, of course. We were told that not only did he visit his widow in Alaska, in Anchorage, but he was also in this house. He was suffering from dementia when he died. And the group explains that they're working with Tommy. They're trying to get his head back together again. One woman even said that they played Pictionary with him in the afterlife. Makes perfect sense. Colleen's daughter, her nickname is Cece. Her true name is Cecilia. She's named after her great-grandmother. She lives in Australia. She's got a boyfriend there by the name of Harry. Great guy. At one point, she was back in Pennsylvania. The two of them were in Pennsylvania, staying with her mother. They were getting ready to go to Iceland, and from Iceland, they were going to return back to Australia. Cecilia gets involved in a study, and she asks, who is traveling with me and Harry? A woman replies, all of us will be going. A man says, everyone decides. That's their thing. And a guy says to his neighbor, nice house we are staying in when we get there. Which was absolutely true. It was a beautiful house that Cece and Harry had lined up in Australia to move into when they got there. Again, they know the future. This past November, just before I was leaving Pennsylvania to come down here to Panama, Colleen asked, why are some of you going to Panama for the winter? One fella properly replies, for a bottle of wine. Good for him. This house is never shy on the wine. A woman says, we always have to go. I'm not sure if she was really happy about this travel, but that particular woman had no choice. All of this travel back and forth, we don't know how they pull it off. How do they manage? We know they ride around in our cars with us. Years ago, Colleen and I, when we were studying that Hilbert house that I've spoke about before, we would turn the recorders on in the car before we even got out at the house. And sure enough, we're capturing voices in the car. We would always leave one recorder on when we got back in the car to leave, and we're still capturing voices. We didn't know back then that it was our group members that traveled with us. It wasn't random people. But now we know. But then we try to find the answer to how does it work? How do they move around? At the time, I was living in Bali. Colleen lives in East Greenville, Pennsylvania. It's about 7 miles between the two houses. Colleen asks, how long does it take to travel between the two houses? A man curiously replies, long day cycle there. A long day cycle there. That is really a curious comment. So of course, Colleen asked the next study, what is a day cycle? And her man replies directly, we are not going to explain this directly to you. There are things that us humans are not allowed to know. We'll find out when we get back over there. They often tell us that, but that's what I got. Lots to think about there. These people move around. They're with us that we go, I mean, do they get on the plane with us? They get in the car, so I'm assuming that plane, wow, with everybody in it, that's got to be a busy place. That's what I got for you today, my friends. Enjoy the video. Please subscribe. It's important. I appreciate the help. We've got a new Facebook page named after the channel, Discussions in the Afterlife. I'm going to load it up with all these videos, and there's a link there to the website. Check it out. The weekend's coming. It's going to be cold up there, I know it. So it'll give you something to do. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.